Hey, what is up? Welcome to this episode of the Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brian Lofermento, and I am so very excited for today's episode because we are not just talking traditional marketing. We are joined by someone who has such an extensive background, not only in marketing, but also in business psychology. Also, this is someone who uses technology to make our marketing more effective and make sure that we can track it to see if it is more effective. I love the intersection where this guy plays and all the businesses that he serves. So let me introduce you to today's guest. His name is Eddie Yee. Eddie is a business strategist, marketing consultant, and the founder of Ditans Group. With a background in business psychology and over a decade of experience in healthcare operations and digital marketing, Eddie helps companies improve their marketing performance and internal workflows to maximize growth. He's worked with everything from dental practices to staffing firms to cannabis brands, literally you name it, and Eddie has experience there, blending tech and psychology to drive smart, measurable results. We're all in for a treat for this one. I know we're going to leave here with ideas, strategies, tactics that we can use, so I'm not going to say anything else. Let's dive straight into my interview with Eddie Yee. All right, Eddie, I am so very excited that you're here with us today. First things first, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Heck yes, Eddie, there's so much that we're going to dive into today that our biggest challenge will be sticking somehow into a 30-minute podcast episode. But let's get the party started by going beyond your bio. Who's Eddie? How'd you start doing all these cool things?
Yeah, so my background is in psychology, just as general psychology. And right after college, I was able to work for this preventive care facility for seniors in LA. And there I was serving as one of the executives at such a young age. And it was, I got very lucky to learn about not just the clinical aspect of the business, but just overall management of a healthcare practice. And there I was literally doing everything and anything. And one of the things that and it was, small mom and pop type of setting where I had to do literally everything. Even if as an executive. And one of the things that really bothered me was staff management. Anything that has to do with HR that kind of fell as my responsibility. Performance review from, sourcing the candidates, interviews, and offboarding. Again, everything kind of fell onto as a part of my responsibility. And there I thought, there's about 350 some centers or facilities just like what we had just in California. And I said, okay, well, why don't I just create an HR company that's just dealt with the staff issues for these facilities. So I started this company called Healthcare Staffing Solutions. Just targeting those preventive care facilities in California, and which was kind of an immediate hit because I knew what the gap was, and I didn't have to do much marketing because I already had connections with other facility executives as well. So, and that was back in 2018, and in 2019 COVID hit, and because we're in healthcare and I dealt with the staff and recruiting solutions, people from outside of our preventive care facility, industry kind of start calling me because of a staff shortages literally everywhere. And back in 2020, LA Unified School District they're trying to bring back students along with the faculty members and teachers and staff members. And people were saying, how are you going to protect these people, students and faculty members when they're at the school sites? And this company somehow awarded with a big contract with the federal government saying, hey, they must provide staff member to, do swabbing, do the COVID testing right on the spot on a daily basis. And this company had no staffing to back that up. So they start calling all the local staffing agencies, and we were one of them. And we were able to supply approximately, about anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 people just within the 4 months, and that's kind of how my company really started and took off. And then I said, well, there's no way for me to kind of keep relying on COVID-related projects because I knew this was going to end sometime. So I started this marketing campaign, which kind of did the semi-automation as far as the reaching out, getting the leads warmed up, and then when there's a qualified lead, that kind of came over to me where I can start selling the services that we provided. And I said, why can't other people use this? And I could literally replicate what I'm doing and start serving other companies that are not doing their marketing. Then the Ditans Group kind of happened, and we started doing a lot of marketing with an automation tools involved, and we started evolving from there. And now we got a sole proprietor app that tracks the growth, that actually helps the company with the quality control on the marketing side, and yeah, that's kind of what happened basically. And then as I start doing operations for all my companies that I own, I kept outsourcing the IT part, the app development and automation development. So I created a third company. It's called the Omni Solutions, and that company does the app development, the automation. This company, I'm not actively marketing to sell it to other companies, but it's the sole reason that I create this company is because so I can start developing. If I have an idea, if I have, I start planning to do automations, there's other tools that I can use or leverage to automate a lot of stuff that we're doing on a repetitive basis, then I give to my app developer, senior developer, where he can kind of design the app and put all the functions together, functional documents together, that's the company that does all my app development, which is also
I love that overview, Eddie. There's so much to unpack there, but I really love how one thing seemingly built onto the next thing. And you've always followed those natural market fits, which obviously is such an important part of sound business strategy. But what really stands out to me is when I hear you talk about automated marketing, a lot of people will ask, well, what is that? And I can imagine that a lot of it has to do with copywriting, with that outreach, with the sales, the conversion piece of it. Of course, it's all encompassing of all the things you've done to successfully grow your businesses. But I want to add one more layer onto that, which is, of course, your background in business psychology. How has that played into your approach to marketing across the board?
So with any type of education, I'm sure some of you can relate, but it's the fundamentals that teach you. Again, business psychology, my focus was on the consulting side. So it was kind of directing clients to just know what the infrastructure of each organization should be and what type of culture, what type of healthy structure it should have in order for them to operate, efficiently and properly. Which actually I want to share the screen, and I'm not sure if this is a good time to start sharing screen. Let me know.
Yeah, you can give it a shot, Eddie.
All right, cool. Here. There you go. Okay. So those of who are just listening audio, it's a business structure, it's an organizational structure, and it's an optimal one. And just kind of shows you the hierarchy of from the owners or the board of directors, and kind of goes down to the CEO, the C level, right? The CEO, COO, and CFO. But what's important here is the three divisions that is underneath: external division, fulfillment division, and then internal division that separates and have their own each of operations. So external division, it has three bubbles, which is marketing, sales, and customer service and retention. Oh, by the way, these divisions is not just an optimal structure, but is also workflow, is how I believe. So it should always go from left to right, starting from external division, moving on to fulfillment division and internal division. External division obviously starts with the marketing. So you have a great solutions or product or anything that you have your business that you want to promote. you want to sell your product or services to the general public, and you must let them know that you exist. Unless people know that you exist, they just won't know where to find it. And there's gonna be active buyers or potential buyers who are going to be looking for such services. And if you're not visible online, they're just gonna be looking for, they're gonna look at somewhere else where it's, the other companies that are promoting their services just because they're there and accessible and available, right? So marketing is always gonna start first, and then you start selling your product as you start promoting your services. The sales part is obviously just making promises. In return, you're gonna collect some kind of money or some kind of payment from the clients, right? And as you repeat marketing and sales, and people, you start making transactions, you have to deliver, which now falls under the fulfillment division. You have to deliver what you promised during the promotions and marketing or sales phase. So, and you repeat this process over and over and over and over, and you start seeing things that you can make improvements on, or you can start seeing, well, I can start adding more products or services, and this is going to benefit the clients, and it's going to also help me to diversify the income. So that, and that's where the R&D comes in, research and development, which falls on their internal division, right? And you start improving the products and services that you provide, and you make sure that quality control is there to systematically control the deliverables, and make sure that it's supposed to perform or work the way you described it or you promised to the clients. And then you communicate to the marketing or the external division team saying, hey, we've made improvements to our product or services. Hey, marketing team, please let clients know that we improved our services, and let them know we exist with a better product now. So now their cycle repeats again. So that's kind of how the optimal structure of any business. It could be a massage parlor, it could be a taco shack, it could be any type of B2B business structure. But I always follow this fundamentals. And again, the reason why I bring this up, because you brought this as business psychology. So these are the type of things or fundamentals I apply to all the businesses I run, and also the businesses I consult for.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that, Eddie, and I really want to refer back to that. So I love the fact that you've been able to show that for people who are watching us on YouTube. But what really stands out to me is, as a former math tutor, I'm going to out myself there, is I love order of operations. And all too often in business, a lot of people think, well, if we just apply more sales, it's going to fix the solutions. But what you just shared with us really shows, no, if you're not ready to fulfill it, then more sales is only going to present more problems. And so what's your take on the order of operations? Because a lot of people will do the opposite. I see a lot of entrepreneurs that say, you know what, I'm going to be the internal division. I'm going to focus so much on our internal stuff. I'm going to work in the business instead of on the business. And then they are lacking the other pieces. How do you make them all work with synergy at the same time?
Yeah, I do want to put some focus on which division. And again, the order of operations always starts with an external division, with the sales part, right? Just like Mark Cuban said, all sales kind of solve problems. So you want to make sure that there's a cash flow, and that you have the finances to kind of back up or fix all the problems that you have internally, right? But as far as, yeah, you're right. Going back to the internal division or the deliverables, where the quality control is not there, and your products start to break apart, or your services that you're delivering is not up to par, or it's lacking of what you made promises on during the sales phase. Yeah, there's definitely something that you must do, because once your product launches and people start when you start building this reputation from the clients, and you have a volume of clients that are just kind of bashing on your product or services, then you're done, right? All the clients are nowadays just kind of, there's platforms where you can review and say things about the products and their services they receive. So you make sure that before you launch anything, it's closely monitored and measured before you launch anything. But again, you do want to make improvements as you go on. The point is that has to be what you're promising during the phase in the sales phase and the marketing phase. The product has to be solid, or the service has to be solid, so that and you're providing the solutions to problems out there. But overall operations, again, always starts with the marketing or promotions first, and then you have the operations to manage the quality, the deliverables, and then the quality control after that.
Yeah, Eddie, I'll tell you what, one of my line of questioning for you here today in this episode is, it really stands out to me how with Ditans Group, you've structured it exactly as that. It's digital marketing and business operations, both sides of it. And already you've kind of spoiled that line of questioning because you've shown us that it takes all of those things in order to succeed. How much of your work when you walk into a business or you're working with a client and they say, we have a marketing problem, how much of it is you saying, wait, hold on, we actually have to figure it out operationally with those divisions that you just shared with us? Is marketing doomed to fail if we're not set up on the backside with those operations? How do you get them to think that they have this and they probably want SEO or social media or paid ads or all these different things, and say, we have to address this first?
Yeah. When I take on new clients, I always do the assessment first, just like how, and we're healthcare, just because I have a healthcare background. A lot of our clients are healthcare based, like dental practices, med spas. But as far as the marketing goes, we make. I'm not sure if you're aware, but when you go to a doctor or even the dentist or psychologists, what they do is they look at the problem first, right? They always assess what the situation is, what type of symptoms you have, and then they set up a goal, right? They set up a objective or goal. So let's say if you have symptoms of, like, you have a dementia, or let's say you have a depression, you want, and you have 7 times of crying spell on a weekly basis. What they will do is they will set up a goal. They will say, okay, you have 7 times of crying spell on a weekly basis because of this diagnosis. Then we'll try to reduce down to 2 or 3 per week. Okay, so they set up a SMART goal, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time achievable goal, and they start creating interventions to reach that goal. So they say, okay, well, you want to do certain things, or behaviorally, or maybe medically, taking medication, whatever the intervention might be. You start operationalizing what must be done in order for you reach to that goal. Same thing. What we do, again, that's kind of going back to the fundamentals I learned at school, was you assess the situation of the company, okay, and then you ask the owners, or you ask the company, what are the goal that you want to achieve? Is it the sale? Is it the HR issue? What does that goal look like? And based on their goal, you start making all this micro goals or interventions that can help them to reach that goal. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, Eddie. The reason why I jumped in is because hearing you talk about these goals, what I think is a big missing gap that I'm so appreciative that your company fills for your clients is you can only achieve the goal if you can measure that goal. And I think when in marketing terms, a lot of times we have a leaky faucet where we don't exactly know where things are coming from. And I mean, just knowing some of what you do with Ditans Group, you've got call tracking, you've got lead conversion analytics, you focus on that. Talk to us about the fulfillment of the goal, the actual recognition and tracking of those goal metrics.
Right. So I will also share the screen here. So this is our hub that shows the performance of your digital presence. So a lot of the companies out there that would say, hey, we're doing SEO for you, we'll make sure that you're visible on Google or any search engine platforms out there. Well, what they're missing is putting the attributes onto, okay, well, how much the business owners are going to be wondering, how much money or revenue did I generate from your marketing campaign or services? And a lot of times they just can't track it well, right? And hopefully you can blur this out, because there's some sensitive information here. So this is a client that we're serving currently, all right? And what we're doing is a website. We've done a website development. We're doing a call tracking. on top of the SEO. So we're doing SEO, making sure that all the keywords that they've selected, we want them to be ranked number one or on Google, first page of Google, or first page of Yelp. So we start, and the goal is, again, they want to have minimum, I don't know, 15, 20 new patients in this dental practice, 15 or to 20 new patients on a monthly basis with our SEO services, because each patient, their average spending, they spends about $750 per each patient. So they want to start tracking. And again, the reason why they want to start saying 20 patients, because there's certain revenue goal they want to hit on a monthly basis, right? So it's okay, right now you're getting about 10 new patients on a monthly basis. Let's try to get to 20 new patients on a monthly basis. In order for us to do that, we want to make sure that you're visible on Google. And we're also recognizing that a lot of people rely on Yelp, reputation before selecting a new dentist, right? So we partner with Yelp and we're partnered with Google. So once we're doing all these SEO and call tracking, we can now start seeing what the volume of each call are. And from these calls, the most important part is the out of this volume of calls, how many people are actually new patients or new customers. So once they dial our call tracking number, then our system will capture the phone conversation and will transcribe into a text form, just like how iPhones work. When people are leaving voice message, you can actually see the text form of the message first. The same concept. We can actually our AI will transcribe the entire conversation between the new customer and the call respondent and transcribe into a text, and will populate the report for the business and saying, hey, this call was generated because of a Google search or because of website search or because of Yelp search, and it converted, and the patient or the client made an appointment with the practice. So you can see the category shows, oh, this call was a changing appointment, or this call was a general inquiry, or this call was actually a new appointment. And when we say, okay, this is a new client, and convert to yes, well, let's take a look. All right. So this, again, if you can blur out some information out here. So here's the entire conversation in text form. Okay. And the AI, because the owners will not have the time to listen to the recordings nor read through all these text message or text form, we summarize the entire call into 2 sentences. All right. And then we'll tell who the caller was, how long the call lasted, and the phone number which the client can call from, and who the respondent was. And then for the quality control side, we make a lot of recommendation how better the respondent could have handled that call, right? So we give them 4 out of 5 stars, how many stars they would get based on the type of response they give to the customers. And then here's kind of the recommendations or action items. So you can use this not as not just to track the conversion or the revenue growth, but it can also use this as a staff training purposes too.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Keep going, Eddie.
Just saying this, using this, we can start showing to the clients how many new customers they have generated from this phone call alone, right? And there's not just a phone call that we're tracking how many people are visiting their website, if it's a local business with a brick and mortar like address, we can actually track how many people hit the direction button so that customers came to your to the business of the clients that we're serving, right? That's kind of how we're tracking and putting attributes back to the marketing campaign.
Yeah, it's very cool to see this stuff in action, Eddie. I love the fact that we're not just talking theory today. You are really showcasing for people who are watching us on video, real time, the actual analytics, the metrics, the AI improvements that your software is providing to your clients. I've got to zoom out and ask you this big question, because having the tools, having the tech is one thing, but Eddie, I know from personal experience that having that strategic mind paired paired with all of these powers, that's the important stuff. What does it look like when you sit down with clients to map out that marketing strategy? Are you saying, hey, here's the tactics? Are you marrying tactics with timelines and saying, look, in month one, we're going to launch this? I'd love to hear how that strategic mind of yours works.
Right. Yeah, again, it always starts with an assessment, and I'll always show them, hey, how many calls are you getting, and what do you think your visibility look like on Google? And I do a real time assessment. So you know how when you search as a consumer, you and I, my favorite thing to eat is taco, right? And there's a lot of good taco places are in SoCal. And I, based on where you are, and if it's a local business, you want to, what consumers usually do to find services or solutions or products or even taco, they'll just immediately go to Google, start typing best taco near me, or just literally just the one word taco. All right. And we showcase where the visibility of their business is based on the Google Maps. So let's say this company right here that we're presenting today is a dental practice, and they want to be known for best dentist or implant dentist or something like that. So we give them a keyword, say implant dentist, let's just say, okay. And then we'll do a 10 mile, 5 mile radius of the grid of 7x7, and we scan it. And what this does is bring out their real-time ranking on Google Maps, because this is what people would see when they search for implant dentists in this area that we're looking at, right? And the red bubbles, and we call this Google Business Grid. The red bubbles just means, because you can probably identify by the color, but it's red, so it means not good. This 20 plus means that you're just out of the rank, 20 plus, okay? And orange means that you're doing better, and of course, green, the darker the green, the more visible you are. So number 3 here, when you click on this bubble, it shows you where your current ranking is, and then where other people are at, who are above you, right? And if we click on the snapshot, it takes to that geographic coordinate as if somebody who lives right here, which is in Diamond Bar-ish area, if somebody searches right here, says implant dentist, this is the result they're going to see. Okay. And we see that they're ranked number 3 or 4 earlier, right? But if you're ranked number 14 or 15 or anything outside of 3, because we call this local 3-pack, then you want to be part of that local 3-pack. Because again, going back to us as a consumer, we make a business decision based on available information, accessible information to make an informed decision, right? Because we just don't have the time. We're lazy. People are getting lazy every day. And that's the business psychology behind. As a consumer, you want to give much information as so that you can make those consumers make decision quickly and more easily. And we tell them, hey, look, your visibility or your ranking is 5 or 14 or 20. Well, think about how many calls you're going to be getting if you're part of local 3-pack versus you right now at number 14 or 20 plus. Right. And so this is kind of the real time example I can give to them. And usually it's filled with red bubbles, 20 plus. OK. And this is when the clients are going to be, oh, shoot. OK, I'm not visible at all. And these are all these 3 companies that are hogging all the customers. Right. And I want to be part of that. OK. Now, once they're part of this local 3-pack, then you can start seeing the increase of calls. You can start seeing the new customer rate going up, and you can also see what this will do impact your revenue growth altogether.
Yeah, it's very cool to see this stuff, Eddie. I'm so appreciative of your transparency and showing your technology in action. It's to me, as someone who interviews entrepreneurs and marketers for a living, it's next level, because often we talk about SEO. Are you showing up when people search for things, but not are you showing up in the neighborhoods that you care about if you're a local business. It's so cool to see that stuff, Eddie. I said at the top of this episode that our biggest challenge would be to fit everything into just 30 minutes. Well, the question that I like to ask at the end of every episode is super broad, so you can take it in any direction you want, and that is, what's your best piece of advice for listeners? Knowing that listeners are both entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs at all different stages of their own growth journeys, and with your own entrepreneurial hat on as well, knowing that you are a multipreneur with multiple businesses, what's your best piece of entrepreneurial advice that you want to leave them with today?
My one piece of advice would be just studying the market and just knowing the needs is very important versus you wanting to start a business just because you want to, right? Just because something looks cool doesn't mean that a lot of people are going to see that as, same coolness that you see. It's the solutions that the service or the product provides. That's what people are buying, right? So if you're wanting to start a business, my advice is study the market and know if there is a need so that you can become the supplier. Again, business 101. And once you study the market, if you study the market well, then you know how the marketing campaign should be designed. Because all you have to let them know that is you exist to provide that solutions. And if there's a need out there, if there's a search volume out there, if there's inquiry out there, all you have to do is let them know that you exist.
Yeah, I love that confidence, Eddie, through years of experience, not only in your own businesses, but that of your clients. And you're right. That's the biggest challenge that we all have to provide, is that if we have a great product or service, it's actually our obligation. It's our duty, our responsibility to get it in front of people. And when we can successfully do that, good things happen from there. So you have been a wealth of knowledge. I know that people are going to feel a real kick up the butt to up level the way they think about not just marketing, but also the operations to go alongside it. So Eddie, for listeners who want to go deeper into all the great stuff that you're doing and even go much deeper into just a few of the things in tech that you've teased here in today's conversation, drop those links on us. Where should listeners go from here?
You can reach me at ditansgroup.com, or you can call me at 213-805-8383. And I can kind of sit down with you, talk about how you want to direct your businesses, or what type of kind of analysis that you want to see. We can bring it to you. But yeah, I'm not just on marketing side, but I can take a look at your operations altogether. I can take a look at your staffing issue, automation issue, or an app that if you'd like to develop. So
yes, and listeners, you already know the drill. We're making it as easy as possible for you to find those links and that phone number. You see how accessible Eddie is and eager to help all different types of businesses. Down in the show notes, no matter where it is that you're tuning into today's episode, hit those links down below. Shoot Eddie a text. Reach out to him. This is someone who loves business, loves technology, and really brings that operational insight to the table as well. So Eddie, on behalf of myself and all the listeners worldwide, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.